Hi, it's Nicola Bird here from alittlepeaceofmind.co.uk. Today is the letter L, and I can think of no better word to talk about today than love. And specifically, I wanted to talk about this because what I've seen, what we've been pointing to in all the videos so far, and you can go back and watch all of them if you want to in this series. There should be a link somewhere near this video for you to do that if you've missed any. But what we've been talking about is kind of two ways of operating in the world at the moment, right? One is when we get caught up in thought and we get fearful and we get scared and we start what ifing and we start future planning and we start trying to figure out what we would do if this and that and the other and how about this and question and acting out of that space. And our news feed could be filled with that, and our social media feed could be filled with that, and the stories that we hear in the world could be filled with that. And to me, it seems like what we experience in the world outside of ourselves is a reflection of our current level of understanding. So if I feel fearful and I take that seriously and I'm living in a whole bunch of fear right now, I will look out into the world and I will see frightening things and I will see frightening stories and I will indulge in behavior that frightens me. So I will keep being vigilant. I'll keep trying to get more stories. I'll keep trying to get food. I will see empty supermarket shelves. I will hear fear in the voices of my relatives. I will see desperation and scaredness all around me. I will see the NHS struggling. I will see a reflection of my fearful thinking in the world outside of me. But when I've heard, in fact, I haven't heard, I'll explain this in a minute, but like what I imagine is most people are walking around, or a lot of people are walking around in the world right now with that as their experience, that this is a scary time, that this is a time of limitation, of scarcity, of not enough, of disaster, of catastrophe, of frightened fear. I'm walking around in a world at the moment where all I can see is love. I'm not really, like, I will visit this place, but temporarily. And as soon as I start to feel that I'm getting anxious or scared or worried, like I back off from my thinking. I go do something else for a little while. I ignore myself for a bit. And I fall back into this alternative space, if you like. It's not an alternative space, but we're just going to use that language for the moment. And this space of openness in which we get filled up with love, right, that I've referred to on all the videos. What I see at the moment in the world is yesterday, I was sitting out on the back doorstep and the sun was shining and the birds were singing and there was a beautiful quiet in the air because nobody's out and about, I guess. And the kids were working on the way on their computers doing their homeschooling. And my husband was building a chicken tractor, don't ask. And the chickens were pecking on the lawn and all was well with the world. And then I came inside and I spoke to my clients and every one of them was so full of hope and possibility, right? Of seeing the amazing things that are coming into this world, of amazing ways that they're sharing what it is, you know, sharing their love in the world. And my BBC news feed just has stories of, you know, fantastic things that people are doing because of coronavirus. And I have new and renewed connection with my family that hasn't existed previous to this. It's become really apparent and clear, like, who the people are that I really value spending time with, and I'm doing that. And everywhere I look, I'm not seeing fear, I'm not seeing scarcity, I'm not seeing a lack of anything. I'm literally living in a world where there's plenty, there's enough, and in actually weirdly more profound well-being than I have for ages. And that's because the ability to access this gold dust of the human experience, right? Just the feeling of being filled up with love is independent of circumstance. It's independent of circumstance. And so you could be more worried, anxious and up in your head 6 months ago, and right now you finding a weird peacefulness come over you. Or it could be that you used to feel really peaceful and now you're feeling really stressed. And what you will find is that that changes from day to day because it's independent of circumstance. But what I think is beautiful, what I'm seeing in the world around me, and I have such appreciation for right now, is that when I look at the news stories and I know that this is the default, right? This is human nature. When babies are born, they are this, right? Before the piles of thought come into the world, and the shoulds and the shouldn'ts and the expectations and the concepts and the division and the limitation and the fear and the scarcity, you catch the eye of any newborn child and you'll see this space in form, right? And to me, what I see is, because this is our human nature, because this is our spiritual nature, actually, more accurately, because this is our resting place, this is our default, this is home, this trumps this every time. So despite the fear, despite the lack, the limitation that you might be seeing in your world right now, this is trumping it. This, to my mind, in my experience, is trumping it. The stories of amazingness and climate change and possibility are trumping the stories of fear and scarcity and impossibility. Here, amazing things are being created, opportunities, transformations in industry and business and the way that people work and the way that people school, and so fast in a way that we thought would never be possible. And this is trumping this, as far as I can see. And it always will, because love will always trump over fear, right? It always trumps fear. Wisdom will always trump fear. And that's really good to know. So I hope you've enjoyed this one on L. L is also for like less of me, right? So we've been talking about less of me on my mind, the better I do. But you're also going to see a little less of me because, as you've noticed, I'm going to be mixing this up a little bit because some of my best friends and colleagues have been inspired to create some videos for this series as well. So you're going to be seeing some of them on the way. And I love it that I get to share some of the most amazing people with you. In fact, you'll see something from Michael Neal tomorrow, and one of my very first coaches and mentors for him is for Michael. So we'll be back with you with that video tomorrow. Bye.